Hey everyone, how's it going? So we have our post form on the page now. I mean, granted, it looks awful, but we're going to work on that now and get this looking a little bit like you see here. So hopefully it'll look a little bit better than this by the end of this video. So let's go back to our CSS file. Firstly, we're going to style, just so I show you which elements we're going to work on. It's these ones here that we had in this mixins file. So post form container, user image container, and those ones there. So let's go back to our CSS file. And let's start with, in fact, no, we'll do it in the browser like we have been doing, just so we can see our changes. So, in fact, I'm going to right-click on the page. Oh, wait, it wants me to sign in again. Let me just sign in. I think maybe I restarted my server in the meantime. Okay, so what we're going to do is right-click on the page. And then what I'll do is style the, where is it? The post form container one. So I'll go to the sources tab. And I'll find this main.css file and I'll do it in here. So I'll say .post form container. And so I've added that element there. And then we're going to give this a display of flex. Display flex, which should push these alongside each other. We're then going to say padding is going to be this spacing part we did above. One of these elements has it. The variable we created, so var dash spacing, which remember, oops, make sure you spell it right, which remember gives us this default spacing that we want. I think we used it in this h1 tag up here, this spacing around the elements. What was next? Did we have a border on this? Let me just check. Oh yeah, we have this gray underline right here. Let's do that. So I'll say border bottom is going to be 10 pixels. It's quite a thick border, solid. And the color is going to be RGB, and the red, green, blue values are going to be 230, 236, and then finally 240. Now, you could put this into its own variable if you wanted to, but I think this is the only place we're using this color on our site, so there isn't really much of a need. But if I go down now, you'll see right at the bottom of the page, you can just about see it. This border right there, so it's that's what we're doing. Obviously when we get some content underneath it, you'll be able to see it a bit easier. Currently it's just stuck at the bottom of the page, but you can see what we've done. And then finally we're going to do what we did above, where we just add flex shrink. So flex shrink and set this to 0. Now again, this fixes an issue in Safari, where basically if you're using Safari, you'd see this have basically no height. I said before, it took me so long to figure out what was wrong with the page in Safari, but it turns out adding flex shrink there works. So just add that and then don't give it another thought, okay? So great, that's the post form container styled. I'm thinking we should do the user image container now, because this is a giant image. It'll probably make our lives a bit easier if we can get the image sorted. So what we'll do next is style the user image container element. So from the sources tab, we'll say dot user image container, and then what we'll do here is we will say width is going to be 50 pixels. Now I know the image hasn't resized yet, don't worry, that's expected. I'll show you how in just a second. We are going to change the size of the image, but then we're also going to say height is going to be 50 pixels. Now underneath that, what we're going to do is target the image directly. So I've just copied and pasted this user image code, okay? And then what I'm going to do is get rid of these two properties, so it's empty now, and just add img, okay? So I've just added this underneath, and what we're going to do there is target the image directly, and we're going to say width is going to be 100%. So what we've done is we've styled the container of the image, or rather set a size on the image container rather than on the image itself. Now the reason we've done this is because the image now will just adapt to the size of the container it's in. So if we ever want to change the size of the image, we just change the size of the container that it's in without having to change the image directly. I've just found this is a much more flexible way of doing it. It's kind of a better solution to just setting a size on an image directly. Just making the image grow to the size of whatever container it's in. So it looks a lot better already. But let's also make it a rounded picture. And now you don't have to do this if you don't want to. Maybe you want to keep a square picture. But I'm going to do rounded borders. So I'll say border radius is going to be 50%. And it gives us that circular picture. Like I said, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. But that's just what I'm going to do. And then finally what I'm going to do is say background color is going to be white. So you could say FFF. Or like I said before, if you really wanted to, you could just literally write white. Okay, so either works. But the reason we've set a background color of white is because when the user comes to upload their own profile pictures, if they upload a PNG which doesn't have a background, then it's going to give some weird effects, okay? So we want the background picture to be a white background to cover that case. So you wouldn't notice this unless you upload a PNG which has a transparent background. Okay, so that just covers that case. I'm trying to think if that's it. I think that's it for the profile pictures. So I think now's a good time to copy what we have, go back to our CSS file and paste it in there. Great, so now we're up to date. Okay, so I think that's a good place to leave it. What we'll do in the next video is style the button and the text area as well.